So the halving is behind us. We've got who has mined the epic sat. We've got increases in the Bitcoin transaction fees. Let's also take a look at the crypto market today, the day after the halving. The other thing I want to talk about right now real quick is I'm going to make a few videos this weekend because there's a lot of time sensitive stuff that I'd like to talk about. That's just too much for one video. So I'm going to make a couple of videos, watch the ones that pertain to the things that you're interested in, disregard the ones that aren't. That's all I've got to say about that. So with that said, let's get into it. So first of all, ViaBTC, which is a private company that offers mining pool services to those who pay, mined the epic sat. So unfortunately, none of us will benefit from this epic sat being mined. It has gone to this company here, ViaBTC. They're a private company, so none of our stocks will pump due to this. Something our stocks will pump due to, though, is in the next story here that we have over at bitcoin.com. You can see Bitcoin transaction fees skyrocket above $240 following the halving. Now, it hasn't held up at that price, but those are the prices we can expect to see when activity is high on the network. Right now, it's not nearly as high as it was yesterday, but you can see here there's a screenshot from mempool.space that shows you the transaction fees right after the halving, and they were up there, around $245 at some point for high priority. Low priority was still fairly cheap at $2. But high priority was going for a significant premium at that time. So let's take a look at mempool right now. This is actually, or mempool, excuse me, not meme, mempool.space. This website goes through a whole lot of digging into the Bitcoin chain, blockchain, and activity on it, what's happening, how much things cost. You can see right here, the transaction fees currently, high priority is only $26. So the activity has significantly dropped since the halving occurred. So yesterday was a much bigger day in that respect. You can also come in here and just like see what everyone's paying for different things. And if we scroll down here, actually it shows recent transactions, how much in Bitcoin they were and how much they cost. So 0.0052 Bitcoin was a, let's see here, it was a 505 sat BB. So I believe this would have been the price. Okay, can it stop? I believe this is the price, yeah, of how much Bitcoin was in dollar value, and then this is the fee. It was 271 Satoshis in the fee, which would have been up here, 270, would about 25, 26 bucks for that. So if you want to send, let's see, $8 million costs you 288 Satoshis to send, which is about 26, 27 bucks, which is cheap compared to like something like Western Union. Not bad, which would take a percentage, right? And this is a fun little site you can take a look at when you want to see fees increase. And now fees feed to the profitability of the miners. So if fees are skyrocketing, we're going to be making money on the public miners that, if their stock goes up when they make more money. They make more money when fees go up. Now, this here is a chart showing you the Bitcoin fees for the past 3 months. You can see 3 months ago, back on January 20th, the transaction fee was about $5 and 33 cents. Today it is about $18.96. Now that's an average. We are lower than we were on the 12th, which is very interesting because if you remember, the 12th was the day that first attack had happened between Iran and Israel. And you can see that the transaction fees for Bitcoin actually went pretty high. They spiked on that day and they've stayed elevated since then. So there's a lot of activity on the network during times of uncertainty. Now, I don't know, if a lot of that was selling as we saw in the chart, but that will show you that we are on a bit of an increasing leg up, constant leg up right now on the Bitcoin transaction fees, which is going to translate to profits for the Bitcoin miners, which is going to translate to profits for our portfolio. So that's pretty fantastic. Let's take a look at Bitcoin and what happened to Bitcoin right after the halving here now. Let's see here, when was it? It was right here. I have this on a 5-minute chart, by the way. So we had an initial little drop off of about, let's take a look here. We had a little drop. Well, I mean, first we spiked. Well, first we had a drop off of 0.8%. Then we had a little jump up to 0.4%. And then we had a larger drop off to minus 1.35%. And then we kind of just chugged along from there. Let's take a look at the 1-day chart here. Where on earth is my chart? Where? Oh, where? All right, there it is. This chart got a little out of hand there, actually. Where the heck is my chart? Where is this thing? Why did it go so far into the past? Okay, so we are actually on a bit of a move up here after the halving. So we had the halving. That actually happened yesterday. Let me get this on here on the daily chart that shows up in the wrong place. There we go. All right, now that's when the halving was. We are actually up a little bit from there. We are up 1.47% since the halving. We got a little bit of a tweezer here. Not the biggest tweezer I've ever seen, but a little bit of one. This is actually kind of promising, especially since we're holding up above this line right here. We close above this line here today. I'd be looking for this thing to start coming and creeping up towards that 67, maybe even back up to that $70,000 range on here. The fact that this wasn't just a complete sell-off scenario is very promising, I think. Actually, you know what? I don't need this line on here anymore because this has happened. It's done. It's in the past. I don't necessarily need to know exactly when the halving was. I can look it up on Google the next time I need to see it. But you can see there's a big old doji that ended up a little bit higher from on the day of the halving. We came as low as 59,000, almost 59.5, which probably liquidated a good amount of longs. And now we're moving our way up, which is honestly going to go and liquidate some shorts here on this chart. Bitcoin loves to liquidate the leveraged players in this space, which is why, and this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever, but which is why most people would recommend caution in relation to using leverage in the crypto space. And a lot of people would say just don't do it at all because crypto is in and of itself kind of a leveraged asset to begin with. So you're just playing with fire. So personally, I don't leverage anything in the crypto market. I just buy and hold, wait for the cycles, and then I sell when it gets nice and high and toasty, nice and frothy, if you will. So we are, it looks like we had a nice little base right here. Honestly, we have a couple of like four kind of identical candles back and forth, right? So we had this doji here followed by the doji on the halving. These two candles here just kind of engulfing each other. I know they're not really engulfing candles when you look at them, but kind of like a little tweezer set. And then we had a matching candle there. If this one kind of goes up into the 65.7 range today, that would just kind of look like we're doing a mirrored move back over here up to the $70,000 range. We'll take a look here. We are out of this descending channel. So the momentum has shifted back to the upside here on Bitcoin. If we could hang out in this area up to potentially like $67,000 for a couple of days, I think that would be an appropriate kind of pullback through time sort of scenario. I mean, we did a pullback, but like enough time for these SMAs to get into the price range here, and then we can just like easily just launch our way above them. I think this was the build up to the launch off, which is something that you're going to see in a lot of other stock charts right now that I'll look at in some other videos with those, because I'm going to have this one be a more crypto centric sort of video today for this one right now, and I'll do a few others about some other assets as we go along, just so it's a little more chopped up and a little more digestible for the viewers. So let's look at the crypto market as a whole. We're in neutral territory. Remember how we were super greedy for a while there? We are in neutral territory, and the price of Bitcoin really is not that far away from the all-time high again. Like we're how far away are we? Okay, let's see. Where are we right now? We're right here. We are from the all-time high. We are only 14% away from the all-time high on Bitcoin, and we have gone all the way back into neutral territory on the Fear and Greed Index. We have the power to go significantly higher given this situation here. This is fantastic. I love everything about this. Okay. So in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is up 0.49% according to CoinMarketCap. Ethereum is up 1.78%. We've got Solana, the big winner, up 4.66%. If you're holding on to Solana, you are doing great this year. I'm a Solana holder myself, and I am absolutely crushing it. At one point, I was up like 600%. I kind of wish I'd sold and bought back in, but I didn't. I'm still holding on to that. Now I'm only up about 360, 70% on my Solana for the year, but man, is that just fantastic feeling right now. I do think that, and we're going to look at the chart here, but I do think that Solana has the potential to do a pretty significant move here very, very soon. And of course, not financial advice, not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, just giving information and to a certain extent entertainment, if you believe it is entertainment. I hope you do. XRP up 4.24%. That's the biggest move we've seen in quite a while on XRP. I am also an XRP bag holder, and I kind of wish I wasn't a little bit because it doesn't move a lot, but today's pretty exciting. I'm sorry if I offend anyone in the XRP army. I am among the ranks and I have been holding it for a very long time, and I really want to see this stupid thing just do a move already that makes me excited. It really hasn't done it in a while, and I know you feel my pain if you hold this one. Okay, anyways, Cardano also up 6.8%. The stable coin moves. Up to 50 cents. We're almost back to where we were just a few days ago. Okay. I also have a bag of that, by the way. A pretty sizable bag, actually, that one. I wish it would move more. It was so promising. It still is. It still has a lot of opportunity, but we're moving on. Of course, not financial advice, not a suggestion advice that hold any assets whatsoever. What else is going on here? What else do I hold on here that's doing like something interesting? Near's up 9%, 8% for Polygon. Chain is up 7%. Uniswap up 3% even after the SEC came for them. We should actually do a video all about Uniswap and the SEC and its whole thing, actually. I'm going to put that on my list. If you're interested in talking a little bit about the SEC and how they've been attacking the crypto market lately, let me know in the comments, and I'll kind of move that video idea up a little further on my list, because I do have a bit of a growing list lately. If you've made any comments, any suggestions for videos that I haven't gotten to yet, I apologize for that. So much has been happening news-wise and price-wise, and I've just been trying to keep up, and it's it's kind of hard to keep up with everything all the time. So there's that. Chronos, I do have a significant bag of this. This is up 5.25% today, 13 cents. I mean, it could be moving better. It's not moving as much as I'd like, but someday. Render's up 9%. That's actually one of those AI coins that people have been liking of late. Let's take a look. That's about it. Pepe is up 11%. Meme coins doing a bit of a rocket there. Not too much though. So that's the crypto market. It's all up today. Things are looking good. We're feeling optimistic, even though it is a neutral day, and we've got plenty of coins nearly up double digits here today, and it's only a neutral market. So that's very encouraging to see. Let's take a look at Sol now. So Solana. If we got in, if anybody was watching this downtrend and got in down here at the bottom here around this 121, 122 range, congratulations to you. I think that's probably going to be an excellent entry point on Solana. I don't really see us getting back below 131 or 132 really on this chart. In fact, I'm going to draw another box down here. So I really don't see it going any lower than this anymore. Like, this is probably going to be the bottom, right about right there. Honestly, I think that's going to be the bottom. And in fact, I think that so much that I'm going to move this yellow line right there and lock that in. I don't think we're going to go much lower than that. If we didn't go any lower than that after this, now, I should preface that with, as long as we don't get any new catastrophic news, like let's say the United States enters a war, well then I think that bottom can be taken out. Like, if the US gets directly involved in some global conflict, yeah, then this could easily take out this low. So that is still a possibility. That is still in the cards. That could happen, but I'm not going to manage my portfolio in the expectation of that happening, because then I wouldn't be buying anything ever, and I'd probably miss out on a pretty sick run while waiting for it. And if it does happen, I can just hold through it. Generally, war dips tend to only last about 2 weeks before it's back to the races, because being honest with ourselves, it's not great. Don't love the statistic, but usually those sorts of conflicts end up with more economic activity, end up in better markets, which is messed up. But money starts flowing when people get conflicting. Anyways, Solana has broken out of this descending channel now. It is officially out of this channel as of today. If we close closer to these highs, or I mean, honestly, even if we close anywhere above like 144, this is solidly outside of that channel. Now, if it stays out of there today and tomorrow, I'd be looking for a move back up to at least 166 before another leg down, if there is going to be another leg down. Now, if you're an Elliott wave person, I think we've done the 5 waves. Let me take a look here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you could say that. You could say it. And then we'd be going towards wave 1 now on the way back up. Now, if you're an Elliott wave expert and I just absolutely botched that, go ahead and let me know in the comments, but it sure looks like we did the 5, right? We've got, can I get just a 5-point mover here Elliott wave, ABC. I want ABC day. Let's see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 5. That's what I'm seeing, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I'm seeing on it. And then where I'd be looking for a reversal, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like 5 somewhere up at like $300. Honestly, I think that if we get a wave in the opposite direction right now, let me get rid of that. No, I'll leave it on there. If we get a wave in the opposite direction right now, I'd be looking for a move up to 260, probably even a move that eclipses that, possibly up to like 295, 296, because you know people are going to be selling right under $300 just to scare the crap out of you, because crypto market, they love scaring people, they love to rattle you up. That's what I'd be looking at for Solana if we start to see an opposite move, because like these up moves tend to be bigger than the down moves, especially when we're in a bull market. Like, let's take a look at the history right here. Let me turn all this off. Okay, so actually I'm going to need that back on because I'm going to draw something. All right, let me get rid of this here, okay, because that's distracting to me. So we had this big up move, right? So we had like a big up move that was 72%, right? And then that was followed by a down move that came down about 37%, right? But from the base of that move, we got another big move that was 171% from that 37% dip. Now, how far have we dipped now? We have dipped 41%. That means that we could potentially be primed for another 170% pump, because crypto likes to do the big mega moves like that. And what would that look like? That would look like if we did 170 exactly, I don't know if we will, but if we did 170 exactly, it'd be $335. $335 Solana. If we do a similar pump up, that reflects this previous move back here in, from November to December, and then from December to January 24th, that'd be like this kind of move, right? Like we have that 171 pump up, 40% pump down, followed by another 170 up. Like before, that was what did I say? It was like a 70% or 66% pump up, followed by a 36% drop, followed by a 170% pump up, and now we got a 40% dip. What do you think is going to happen next? This is crypto, baby. We are after the halving. Things are getting crazy. The bull market is officially moving on right now. And if I'm looking at this chart and I'm interpreting it properly, this liquidity build, this 41% drop of liquidity build could potentially open the door for another 100, possibly 200% pump, which would take us well over $300. Now, I do think we'll struggle. We'll struggle at 260. I do think we'll struggle just below 300. But once we break through 300, I do think that we'll probably come and tap 330, 350 very, very, very fast on Solana once we break through 260 and $300 levels on Solana. So if you've got a bag of Solana, congratulations. If you're accumulating a bag of Solana, honestly, not a bad little area right now. Now, I do think that this, so ascending channels tend to break to the downside unless you're NVIDIA or Tesla. And I'll show you that in another video, actually. That's a technicals thing. So I do expect this leg up here at some point to break, maybe around 160 or so, and it'll come right back down probably to 150, 148. I do think that there will be an opportunity again to buy this possibly in the 140s, maybe high 130s on a downswing, on a wick. But unless we get like some kind of really, really bad news to drive this thing down, I don't see a scenario where we get much lower than the high 30s, high 130s, low 140s at most before moving on up to take out all-time highs again on this thing. That's my interpretation of this. Now, like I've said before, you do often see ascending channels, just like this one back here, break to the downside, and descending channels, just like this one here, break to the upside. Now, this is an ascending channel. Now, this is more of a breakout sort of candle pattern than in the past. Like you see right here on April 6th, 7th, and 8th, this was a very controlled buying, followed by a drop that wasn't so dramatic that you caught on, and then it flattened out, and then another bigger drop where you probably should have caught on, and then another big drop, and then we flattened out, and now we're on our way back up. And these are more breakout candles, similar to like these candles on the way down. Notice how these were like breakdown candles? Well, now we're seeing breakout candles. And if we start to see a controlled selling pattern, maybe like something like here on March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, where they're like one big one followed by a couple of small ones, and then a big move up, followed by like 1 or 2 days of selling, just so you don't catch on too much and you think, oh no, it's going to flip around, and then it just goes up even harder. That's what we're looking for right now. So, or something like this. Honestly, this is the perfect illustration right here on the Solana chart. This is a perfect illustration of going the other way. So this is right here, right here. So it doesn't all fit into one channel, but we got 2 channels here actually. Okay. So the bottom half and the top half. So anyways, this right here, this is the perfect example right here and right here actually for the upside. This is what we're trying to look for. These sorts of things, right? So we got controlled buying, controlled selling, controlled buying, controlled selling, little buy. So you think that it might be flipping around, but oops, psych, coming down further, controlled selling. Like these tiny little candles that kind of go in a channel. When those break out, they're going to go break out big. Kind of like back here, right? We had like all that, like crypto's so full. It's so easy to see these. Anyways, so like controlled buying, bit of a sell-off for a couple of days where it came down. How far did it come down off the top of that thing? We did a full move of 12%, right? And then it came up and then it went almost back down to that 12% level. And then we started seeing these control buying on the way up, followed by a little dip just to scare you a little bit, make you think that maybe the move was over, but nope, too bad it wasn't over. Oh, now it was. And then on the way back down again. Start looking for these channels when you're watching these. So right now, I'm seeing a pattern more like this one after a controlled selling. Like what happened before, I'm looking for a pattern kind of like what started on February 24th, where we're seeing more of these bigger candles on the move up. And I mean, we have these big candles on the move down, right? I'm looking for maybe 1 or 2 days of selling after today, maybe one more day of buying that'll take us up to like that 160 range, and then they'll feel okay doing some controlled selling back down to 149-ish, maybe like low 140s. They'll see some controlled selling, and then when that breaks out, we'll be looking for some big candles taking us a lot higher on this thing. So I'd be looking here, this area right about like, let's see, maybe by like Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I'd be looking for something that's going to be kind of like this, maybe about that thick. Let's see what happens. I'm going to leave that on the chart and see if it gets in here or goes at a similar angle like that. Actually, it might be a little steeper than that because they do like to scare you. So let's go something like that. And if it stays real tight and real small like that, I'd be looking for some big breakout candles coming out of a channel like that. If I get some little small ones like this, also take that, but it'll just let me know that they're really trying to stack Solana versus break it out. Like if you start seeing little ones like this, like back here that started in January, if you see little candles going up in January, like this little formation right here from January 23rd until February 14th, you see moves like that, that's stacking. That is the accumulation. That means that bigger players, whales, don't feel like they've got enough in their bag and they don't want to scare you into buying a whole bunch. They don't want to kick off the FOMO yet, but they do want to accumulate. And then this is where there's some selling comes in so that they can build their bags up even harder, and then they do the pump. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of move like that right now, right? Seeing some kind of selling off, maybe one big candle somewhere just to really spook you. But I do think that's what happened back here on April 12th and 13th. I think they took the bad news, the current events, as an opportunity to go, okay, now we can sell it off real hard and then start building our bags again with smaller up candles here as we go forward. And then, maybe another leg or two down just to, not get the dumb money too excited and then launch it into the stratosphere and take profits somewhere around 260, 258. So that's what we're looking for on the Solana chart right now. And I know that was a lot to take in, and I need to do some videos that are really just like, this is the technicals, this is how, this is a way to read the chart and look at it. I hope some of that was something you could take some information away from on this one right now. But that's how I analyze this chart, right? I'm looking for these patterns. I'm looking for indications that something is moving in a controlled way, because those controlled moves tend to come out in breakouts. Because if you notice, once we got back, so we did this controlled kind of like, this was an accumulation zone. Let me draw a box right here from $124 down to $78 from December 26th until March 5th. That was all accumulation right there. That was accumulation. And then there was one big doji candle right here on March 5th that was meant to scare the crap out of you. And then from there, it just launched. And how much did it move from that point? From that point, it went up. It went up 70% from that point, from March 5th, right? Or March 9th, excuse me, from March 9th until, sorry, that's not March 9th. Yeah, from March 9th until, I can't read it because it's on there. From March 5th until March 18th. I'm sorry, the thing was in my way. From March 5th to March 18th, we went up 70%, just big pop off. And then this dip was the big boys selling, and then this little rip afterwards was us retail buying in, going, it's going to go to the moon, and then they dumped the rest of their bag on us after that. So it failed to take the high. When this thing failed to take the high here on March 31st, and then we got that first red candle that came down, that was an indication that, oh crap, things are coming in. And that second candle, that was further confirmation that we're going to come down in a big way as soon as that wasn't bought up. So that was your indication, and you probably should have got out if you were going to sell around 184, which it's hard to do when you're retail and you see a price go from 20, it went from 210 and then came out back up to 203 and then dropped all the way down to, 180. And you're like, oh man, it's going to go back to 203. I'll just hold until it does. And then it comes all the way down to 120. And then you sell and you go, I lost money. That's what they want from you, but really. So we're going to start looking at, because the next move after this bull run is for us to get out of our positions. Once this bull run is done, and it will end, we need to take profits near the end of this thing when it reaches its peaks, right? So it is important to learn how to identify when it is over. And this little box right here that I'm about to draw, that's your confirmation. So the fact that price here on this second leg up did not eclipse the price here on March 18th, which was $210. The fact that it didn't get back up to there and turned around. And then, so I wouldn't have sold off immediately off of that, but the fact that on April 1st, right, we got that big engulfing candle, and the very next day it didn't get bought back up. The fact that it did not get bought back up meant that the big boys weren't back in. That was indication that we're going to go further. And then it went flat, right? And then you got this little green candle to give you hope that it was going to come back, and then it didn't, right? And then we got further selling off. That was the indication. Now let's go into the weekly chart. I wonder if this has a blow off top. Does it have a blow off top? It doesn't. Ooh, that's sneaky. It did not have a blow off top. If you look on the weekly chart, this actually looks like a bull flag. Ooh, that would have possibly even got me, to be honest, if I were actually looking to sell, but I wasn't looking to sell yet. But you can see here, March 18th, 25th, and April 1st, those weekly chart, on the weekly chart, those three candles, those look like a bull flag. And then down at 180, where it opened up on the third week and we got that big sell-off, that's where they really dunked on us. But what is very encouraging here is that on the last two weekly charts, look at those wicks. They're almost identical wicks. We've got another 1 day on this. I wonder if this is going to turn into a hammer candle on the weekly, which would, let's see if we got another one in here. Right here. If it looks like this is what we're looking for on the Solana chart right here. The January 22nd, 2024 candle in the weekly chart, that's a hammer candle. That's what we're looking for. If we get this candle right here on this week, you better believe we're looking at a move that's going to kind of work gradually up a little bit and then explode in a couple of months. Look for that in July. To be honest, look for it in July. Like we're on this hammer candle, right? And this went from January 22nd. Where did it really take off? The last time to accumulate was February 19th. So it took about a month, and then it started taking off. About a month from now is going to be the end of May. So we'd be going into June. June's generally not always the best month for cryptos, but let's take a look at the last couple of times on June. Let's go to monthly charts. Monthly chart on Solana. Hasn't really been around that long, but let's take a look. What's June? April. Last April was up, minus on May, minus on June. We lost almost 20%, May and June in 2023. And then July was a plus 25% month. Nice. September, June was also down. So the only two previous Junes we've had on Solana were actually down. Oh, three. The previous 3 Junes were actually down with a 3% July. What's this one? That's January. Let's see. September. August, July was up 25% in 2022 as well. So I am looking for July. I'm looking for this thing to be really good in July. I'm waiting for, so we're going to, I think it's possible that we could get a hammer candle on this weekly chart. These big wicks on bottom tell me that price doesn't want to go under that 120 level on Solana, okay? Big players don't want it to go below that 120 level. If we get a hammer candle and it goes flat with a slight move ascending, up and to the right on Solana for the next couple of weeks and months. I am looking for a big 3-candle move like this in July, maybe starting end of June, maybe a couple of candles, or 3 weeks, sorry, a 1 month worth of candles that look like this back in February and March on Solana. And if we get that move, let's take a look at how big that move was. How big was that move? That was 105%. So, and that would be from the base, and I'm looking for a base probably somewhere around 167. 105% from 167. I know we could do the math real quick, but let's do the visualization. 100% move from there will take us to 338, $338. That's what I'm kind of looking for in the July pump, and then maybe even up to 400 or 500 by December. Maybe it really depends. It might go up to 335 and then start to really sell off into Q4 and then just get back up to 335 in Q4. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but my expectations are that July is going to be a bit bonkers going forward here. Things are about to get bananas, so hold on tight, get your seatbelt on. If you're accumulating, good job. If you've already got a nice bag, we're holding on for dear life right now because the bull run is going. So that's all I've got for you right now on the crypto space. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.